Rob, how are you?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Doing good, doing good. Just heading into, I know you were talking about just so many minutes being played for the players and just trying to recover. I know you had two players questionable last week with Laboa, and Vignola. Do you have any updates on their status for this upcoming week?
Um, One should be back. Val should be back
Okay.
and available for some minutes.
Okay, and then yeah, then Rob, I know you've talked about just the traveling to the East Coast, and it's just so difficult to win on the East Coast. Has the preparation been any difference this week? Has the team gotten in maybe a little earlier, just to get adjusted?
Yes, we ended up taking the charter yesterday, which is a full day earlier to give us two sessions here, and hopefully, like we feel that fatigue usually, like we say, on the second day. So we're hoping third day. Of course, the scheduling always favours the East Coast teams, unfortunately, in these things. And the home advantage in terms of game time, but in terms of preparation, we've done all we can to try and mitigate that and change it up this time.
I'm going to go to Sandra.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Appreciate the time today. I wanted to talk a little bit about just the playoff framing a little bit. Before, as soon as you get into the playoffs, things happen pretty quickly, and all of a sudden you find yourself, one game away from making a final.
Hmm.
And as far as like the teams in the mix, now it looks to the right side of the bracket, and you've got a number three versus a number two. How does that maybe shift things a little bit as far as folks maybe taking a look at your team or the spirit is maybe those next kind of contenders to make big statements and in games? How are you all kind of seeing yourselves kind of prepare for the match in front of you?
Um, yeah, no change at all. Outside seeding or opinion on who is favourites. You've seen it's a playoffs. Kansas City had a wonderful season. Anyone can beat anyone on the day in this league, so I don't think it makes any difference. Two versus three. You've got the last four winners of the championships all in the semi-final. That just tells you all you need to know.
Rob, I'd also love to get your thoughts on maybe some of the end of the season award stuff. I know for myself, I was pretty shocked to not see Coffee in the running for midfield of the year honors. She's been a real stalwart for your team this year. Could you just speak a little bit to her leadership and what she's brought to the team, especially in these kind of high stakes games?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I like to say I don't really pay much attention to awards, outside noise, comments throughout the season. The majority of people have voted and not in the room with us and see the day to day, and they might get fleeting glimpses of the team or the people involved during the course of the year. So I don't think it affects any of us that way. Actually, we enjoy it when we do get overlooked because we've been there all season long and put down and underestimated. So for Sam, for me, I said it earlier on in the season, I thought first half of the year there wasn't a better midfielder. I don't think in the world at that stage. And then obviously summer break and everything else. I'd say the same about Liv Moultrie towards the end of the season, and maybe that's why she's got the nod. People vote at the end of the season. It's kind of like Ballon d'Ors or whatever, you know. It's who's doing well at that moment or in that time, or they've had a good World Cup or other things. So, yeah, we really don't pay any attention to awards, the players, everybody. It's a group effort. But yeah, I think if people were really paying close attention, you'd struggle not to find Sam Coffey in the top three, four midfielders in the league.
All right, gonna see if any Brenna or Fox want to ask a question before we circle it back around.
Yeah, I can ask one. Obviously this is your third time playing the Washington Spirit this season. Last time you guys played them was a successful match for you guys. Just are you taking anything from those games, or are you just saying this is the playoffs? We got to just wipe the slate clean because of how chaotic they can be.
Yeah, last game we lost here in the 93rd minute with Trinity coming on in a comeback match. So there's lessons to be learnt. The last two times away here, we've conceded in injury time. So there's definitely lessons from each and every game. Different group. They've had some knocks in the past week and scraped through versus Louisville and in the penalties. So you take each one on its merit, but yeah, you need to learn from away trips. You need to learn from previous games here, especially away games. It's completely different when we're at home. Like we had as comfortable a win at home against them 2-0 towards the end of the first half of the season. So there's no stock in that. It's who's playing right now. That you see how quickly the personnel can change in a group after tough matches at this stage of the season and fatigue. And we played 141 minutes. They had to play 120 plus. So it'll be just adjusting to the lineup and the principles and taking some lessons learned and from here and away and the crowd and away matches in the league. But other than that, business as usual and focused on us.
Okay, any questions from our participants from Fox 12?
What does the fox say?
All right, I'll take that as a no. I believe they're probably just recording on their end. We can circle it back around to you, Fook.
Yeah, Rob, Trinity Rodman wasn't available last week. Don't know what her status will be heading into this match, but either way, they have, one of the deepest rosters in the league. But the team has played them extremely tough both times, like you said, the 90th minute stoppage winner for them, the last match. What are the kind of the keys you're looking at for this week? And just trying to bring it back to the West Coast for the final.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? And what time's that scheduled? It's probably for East Coast television. Yeah. So, but we'll I think like you say, regardless if Rodman's in, Kwasi, Monday, look at the level of players they've got. Cantore, they spent a lot of money. Michelle's invested better than anyone in the US game. I think her and the Longs have done such a good job in ownership and not just on the field, but off the field. The infrastructure, the staffing at Washington is the deepest and the biggest in the league on and off the field. So it's a great test. We know their style, the way they want to play, especially under Adrian and the takeover and the second half resurgence they've had. So typical things, mate. Where do we need to access? Where do we need to stop them at the source? Where do we need to deny opportunities for them and their key personnel? But alongside that, with a team that is as bold as they are and wants to be expansive and play, there's opportunity the other way, and it's using those to the right way and in the right advantage. Raylan Turner says hello, everybody, and just making sure that we execute the game plan, which in recent weeks we've been very consistent at, and that includes, I said it before, the Orlando game. I think our last 4 or 5 games have been very, very good in terms of performance-wise, and the last 3 clean sheets and quality of that has been excellent.
Yeah, and then Rob, you've spoken about just the back line. Even before the clean sheets were coming, they were, performances were a lot more solid, a lot better. What are you kind of what have you kind of seen from Mackenzie Arnold in the back line? Whether MA was available, whether she's not, Torpy, Mally, all those type of players just buying in, especially the last few weeks, getting those 3 back-to-back clean sheets.
Yeah, I think maybe it's been challenging for them over the year. When you don't keep clean sheets or there's been individual errors, it's hard for me to keep that solid lineup because you look at matchups and you're like, okay, a Mally might be a better matchup against this type of forward or a Torpy, etc. And we've always talked about the balance, and then we got MA to give some balance and unfortunately lost her services. Same in the central defensive partnership. Sometimes you want to try and keep it as consistent as possible, but if individual errors or little mistakes or 1v1 battles are just not there, we needed to rotate and also keep it fresh. Like we said this year, Shai played a lot of minutes, having not played a lot last season, and I needed to make sure that when we got to this stage of the season, and sometimes people will question why I rotate players, but we need to be consistent and we need to be strong now. And that was always the purpose through the season. And when we rested Hina, Chicken Little, the world's fallen down. But she needed a break, and Jessie Fleming needed a break, and Liv Moultrie needed some time. So you have to pick and choose your moments at the right part of the year. And I learned that lesson last year. And then we try to go with who has the quality, who has the experience for these moments, what are the right balance. And I think, you can see that we've kept a consistent lineup these last 5 games, which was always our plan. And I think they're benefiting from that, but also the players who finish are coming in and saying, right, I've got to hold on to this now. It's something at stake, right? And it's that extra heightened awareness this time of year. Everybody dialed in, everybody on the same page, everybody committing to the tactics and to each other.
All right, real quick, Brandon, before we go to you, I saw Nick joined us. Do you have a question, Nick? Just to come.
Yeah, sure, Rob. Pardon me if you already got to ask something like this, but what is this the significance for your players to have really earned this opportunity to play in a semifinal with the opportunity to still compete for another star above the crest there? Because it's a long season, and this is the group that you had that still had that belief in pushing through to be here in this point.
Yeah, like let's be fair, everybody who gets here earns it. So I don't think there's anything in the earning of it per se. Now, what I will say, and what this group has faced with the adversity, the challenges, rallying around, seeing so many of your teammates go down and not be available, and seeing them having to recover, and the unfortunate breaks they've had throughout the year. That has galvanized them, no doubt about it, and the willingness to play for each other. We've talked about off the field their connection, the quality of that dressing room, the culture we've tried to build here as a club, and we have had to rebuild over these last 2 seasons. Make no bones about that. When you look at how many have actually been here and in this scenario, I think Bella played in the championship game. Sam Coffey, Liv Moultrie were on the periphery of that group. So it has been a rebuild and a challenge, but they've risen to it and they're excited. They're a fun group. The singing on the bus today on the way back from training, if you can call some of it singing, there was some entertaining shouting at times, and then there was some good singing in the mix of it. But yeah, it's a connected, tight group that's all ready to do it for each other, and I think you can see that is transferring to the field.
What joy does that give you, though, and the coaching staff to see them playing with such joy and having that love that they have for each other? That not every team has that seemingly connected tissue that this group does.
Yeah, I mean, I said it the day I took over. I wanted to bring the joy back to the football club. I think we'd lost it along the way, and the history, and there'd been some, some tough times and some trauma and on and off the field, and the coaching staff, and we wanted to bring the love back for football. And you saw players like Sink and Becky talk about that towards the end of the year. They talk about it all the time. Sam Coffey brings that, like, this is our joy. This is what we would put on this earth to do. And if you can't enjoy going out with 20 of your mates every day and kicking the old pigskin about, then what can you, right? So we try and create the right environment. We try and give them the right balance to let the dressing room be the dressing room, and them create their own culture within the identity that we're trying to build as a team and as a coaching staff within our game model. But yeah, it's up to them. They choose to buy in or they choose not to, right? And they choose to spend time with each other off the field, and they rally around each other in the tough times. And you can see what I really love is they're enjoying the good times as well, because you work this hard to get there this season. We might not win it. We might not make the final, but they've had a lot of fun and enjoyment and good memories throughout the year, and that lasts a long time after the seasons are done. And in future years, when they see each other, they'll remember what a great group they were, and they'll remember this season and the challenges they faced and the connectivity they have as a group. So yeah, you can see it. It means a lot to them, and we just want to keep fostering that and helping it along and seeing how far it can carry us.
All right, we're going to go ahead and close it out with Brenna.
First of all, apologies for getting the order of the Spirit games wrong. I forgot that your guys' website goes from most recent to least recent. My God, I looked at it and I was like, that doesn't add up to me. So lessons in trusting your gut. But anyways, kind of building off of that, we've talked a lot about this year and the fact that you guys have overcome so much. Just for you personally, where does this rank in terms of coaching jobs you've done in your career?
Well, I wouldn't be so audacious as to rate myself. I leave that to all the experts.
Jessie, what opportunity is this for the club, and how joyful was that flight? I mean, I guess during the regular season, that's a long trip to go, but when you're playing in a match like this, maybe it's more okay than normal?
Yeah, I mean, I think the vibe around our team and our player group has actually been like pretty joyful throughout the whole season. So, yeah, just trying to treat it like every other game this season, and knowing that we can, yeah, win the game if we do the things right. So yeah, I don't know, I think vibes have kind of been high with us all season.
How much fun though is as an athlete that you live for games like this, matches like this to play in, and you've played in a ton of obviously large ones in your life, but it ratchets up. How special is it to be in moments like this?
Yeah, no, for sure, it's very special. I think, yeah, once you get into postseason or once you get into big tournaments, you're kind of just, yeah, treating like it's just one game at a time. It truly is. And I think when you get a bit of momentum and you kind of feel that positive vibe as a group, you feel good going into games, and it's exciting playing these games.
All right,
When did you get the vibe that this team was going to be so connected and so well rounded and truly playing with each other as a team should?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's come for us at different moments of the season. I think maybe earlier on we struggled to find it a bit more consistently. I think off the pitch, it's always been quite positive, and we've always had a lot of fun together. But I think we've found ourselves in a good rhythm towards the end of the season, and obviously that's the time that you want that to be happening. So, yeah, I think right now we're feeling good, and yeah, just excited that we get to spend another week together, get to play at least one more game together.
all right, I got two questions, Brenna, then Sandra, then Fook. Go ahead, Brenna.
Jesse, I know the last time you guys played the Washington Spirit, it was a bit of a heartbreaker, to say the least. Do you take any sort of lessons from that game into this one, or do you wipe the slate clean because it's the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think like we take lessons from every game. I think, yeah, we've learned a lot of lessons throughout the season, and I think the league is like that. Like, I don't think it just happened with Spirit, and we did it to other teams at times, and you really just have to stay focused across those 90 minutes, or I guess 90 plus minutes in this scenario. So yeah, I think for us it's just about staying focused and learning to kind of manage those moments, manage the game, to, yeah, just put ourselves in the best possible position to win. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's like soccer. I don't think that was anything groundbreaking that happened in that game. It was unfortunate, and it was good play by their team, and sometimes that happens.
Uh, just, when the season began, or even before the season began, and it kind of felt like there, player by player, there was coming out that, hey, this person was out for the year, that person was out for the year. What kind of kept your faith that your team could be here at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for me personally, like I don't really pay a great deal of attention to the media's opinions. I think a lot of people don't have any eyes on our environment. People aren't spending the kind of like day-to-day time with us in our training environment. They don't know our team on any sort of intimate level. And so I think it's quite silly when people make preseason predictions without having seen a team play, without having interacted with the team. But so yeah, I don't really care for that. I feel like playing with the Canadian team, I've kind of experienced like what it's like to have that underdog mentality, and I honestly love it. And yeah, I mean, at this point in the season, I don't think you could call us underdogs, but yeah, I've just really enjoyed how this team has kind of kept those opinions away from us, and we've just, yeah, worked hard every day, tried to improve throughout the season. We've had spells of good play, spells of play that we wanted to be better, and I think we've kind of just taken the approach of, yeah, just constantly trying to improve throughout the season. And like I said, I think we really enjoy each other as a player group, and that really helps, and it kind of shows up in our games. It shows up in how resilient we are during games, how resilient we are with all of these things being said. So yeah, I think it's just a special group of players.
All right, we're going to move to Sandra.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate the time. Just congrats on making it to the semifinal with the Thorns. Um, just kind of to maybe elaborate on that a little bit. I think you raised a lot of good points about your team this season, that maybe you were a group that was kind of maybe underrated kind of going into this one, and now you enter not just this postseason into the semifinals, but as a top three seed. Um, for folks who don't have that insider view for you all, like how would you kind of describe your team right now going into this semifinal? Is it like a team with nothing to lose? Does it just sort of feel like more of that underrated squad, or how would you kind of describe your team?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of like I alluded to before, I think we've had a good bit of momentum in the later half of the season, and we've strung together some really good performances. I think different players have stepped up in different games, which I think is a special part of this team. Everybody's kind of showed up when we needed them to. So yeah, I think we feel good as a team, and like I said, we really enjoy being around each other. So I think last week, honestly, everyone was just stoked to get to spend an extra week together, to get to play one more game together. I know it was especially special for us getting that home match at Providence Park, and so I think we take a lot of energy from that.
It's sometimes like just kind of stemming off of this team kind of being one of joy. Like sometimes these games in the postseason can get kind of tense. They could, because they are so narrow for long stretches. How do you make sure you kind of balance that, being a team of joy and you're so unified when those moments maybe feel low in a game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I honestly think that's something that we've gotten better at throughout the season. I think you kind of saw that in our last game against San Diego. They're such a good team, and there was definitely a lot of moments in that game where we kind of had to manage some waves of their pressure, and we had to do a lot of defending. But I think you kind of saw how this group has matured throughout the season and how we're able to handle those shifts in momentum, which are always going to happen when you're playing against a good team, when you're playing away from home. And so, yeah, I think I was really proud of kind of how our group has, yeah, clearly, I think, matured throughout the season, and we've gotten better at managing those moments. So, yeah, I think we feel good about that. I think we feel good about kind of the different elements of our game as a team that have grown throughout the season.
All right, we're gonna go with Fook, and then after Fook, if you have additional questions, just make sure to raise your hand, and we'll call on you as we see those hands be raised.
Yeah, and then Jesse, the team's coming off 3 consecutive clean sheets. What has it kind of been like to see all that hard work, especially during the after the break, kind of pay off, and then also just kind of being a big part of that is the midfield. Liv is peaking, Sam Coffey's peaking. You're playing some of your best football with the team as well. What has that all kind of been like just to see the team peaking at the right time, heading into the semis?
Yeah, I mean it's exciting. I think, it doesn't always happen. Timing doesn't always work out that way, but like I said, I feel like we've worked quite hard throughout the season, and we deserve this form, and I think as a player it's a lot of fun when things are clicking, when other people on the pitch are confident, and when we feel confident as a group. I think that confidence kind of rubs off on each other, and yeah, I think especially for me as an individual, like definitely feeling the confidence of my teammates. So it's fun. I mean, it's more fun playing on the pitch when you're confident, when you feel decisive as a group, when you kind of feel a bit of that momentum on your side. But like I said before, I think we also kind of have that confidence now, knowing that we can manage games in a more mature way, and that's definitely something that we're going to need on Saturday and hopefully the following week.
Yeah, and then Jesse, Washington, obviously, both matchups were really close, right? You all taking it at home, them taking one at home. What is it going to kind of be the difference heading into Saturday? Obviously they're stacked at every position as well, and then you all are coming off so much adversity with the injuries throughout the season as well. What's going to be the difference in your mind on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just those little margins that are going to make the difference. I feel like it always is in games like this. But yeah, for us, I think it's just about keeping our concentration, managing some moments of their momentum, and then yeah, when we do get our chances, when we do get our spells of good play, trying to stretch that out and kind of feed off of that energy.
Right, I don't see any additional hands, so okay, go ahead, Fook.
And then Jesse, last one for me is, can you just kind of talk to us about your journey back into, just into NWSL? Last year it was a little bit of adjustment period. This year, your role was, somewhat consistent, and then towards the end, now you have a very defined role moving forward with Liv and Sam in midfield. Can you just kind of talk to us about this whole journey, and then now heading into semifinals in one of the biggest games for your NWSL career?
Yeah, Yeah, no, I think it was definitely a bit of an adjustment. Yeah, I think just switching leagues and different leagues, having different challenges, getting used to a new city, a new team. I think this year the team feels a lot more cohesive, just in terms of the player group, and I think yeah, I feel comfortable around my teammates. I feel like I can be myself, and I think that's showing up on the pitch, and yeah, and then I think any player benefits from having a consistent role on the pitch, and I'm excited that have been able to show what I'm capable of a little bit more in the later part of the season. And yeah, I mean, I love playing with this midfield unit. I feel like we complement each other really well, and we all kind of bring different aspects to the team. So yeah, I really enjoy when the team is playing well. It gives me energy, and but yeah, honestly, I'll keep coming back to the player group. I've really enjoyed the locker room this year. We laugh a ton, and I think that kind of just like yeah, it gives the group energy, especially when you go through adversity in different moments of the season when people are getting injured. I'm just yeah really proud of the way that I think the girls have taking care of each other, and so yeah, just excited to get to play one more game with the group, and we have everyone here, the injured players included, which I think is really special, just like that we've been able to keep our group together, and yeah,